Hi, welcome to Create, Dream, and Paint. I'm Erin, and this is
Zach.
Today we are learning about 2 of the 7 elements of art. We are learning about line and shape. Today we need our paint supplies, markers, pencil, eraser, and a ruler. Let's get
started.
Today we're going to be discussing lines and shapes. Those are 2 of the 7 elements of art. So what is a line? A line is something that goes from one place to another. It can be straight, it can be curvy or wavy, it can be vertical, it can be horizontal, it can be diagonal. Lines can be all sorts of things. But if we took these lines and put them together, that would be considered a shape. So a shape could be a square, a rectangle, a circle, a cloud. There's so many shapes. See what ones you can come up with. So today we're going to be using line and shape to create our painting. We're going to create a house with some trees, a sun, and clouds. So the first thing we're going to draw is a house. So think about what a house can look like. Your house might be domed, or you might decide to draw it like me. I'm going to draw my house as a square to start. It doesn't have to be a perfect square. I like to use a ruler. You don't have to. That's totally up to you. I like the square not to be perfect because I like it to be kind of a little angled, my house. I don't want it to look perfect. I want it to look like whimsical, almost like it belongs in a storybook. So I have a square to create the bottom of my house, and now I'm going to put a triangle on for a roof. So I want you to look at how these lines that I am drawing create a shape. That's just like what we were talking about with lines and shapes. So we have a square and we have a triangle. So what other shapes? Sorry, I'm just cleaning up my canvas. I have 2 big puppies in this house, and you'll notice sometimes I get puppy hair on my paintings. So what other shapes are in a house? Well, I would say that let's do a rectangle for our door. There has to be a way to get in and out of your house. Now let's look and see what I would like for windows. I think I'd like to put a big picture window, they call it, that big window at the front of your house. And then I'm going to kind of change stuff up a little bit here, just because we can. I'm going to go in and do a circle window on top of the door. You can do all sorts of things. You could do triangle windows. This is your art, and you get to decide on what you want it to look like. But I think this is kind of a fun house. The next thing I'm going to do is I would like to maybe put where I want the ground to be. And don't worry about it being perfect. And you know what? On this side of the house, I think I'm going to want some plants. So this is going to be green. This looks pretty empty. So I'm thinking that over here, we're going to try making a tree. So a tree, the trunk, let's try a big, long rectangle. And I want you to know that if I'm going too fast, you can stop this video at any time. We got to work at our own rate. If it's going too quick for you and you want to take more time, you just pause it and you do what you're going to do. Because I want a picture of what you want your house and your picture to look like, your painting to look like. So next, I'm going to go in and do these lines like this and create a shape that's going to be the leaves on the tree. It's kind of fun. Tell you, I'm sure missing summer. I have big trees, lots of squirrels in the trees and the birds by my house, and I kind of sad everything is so cold. I never go outside right now. Okay, so what else we're gonna do? We're gonna make a sun. So let's do a bit of a circle. And let's create the rays of the sun. But do you see how it's really easy? We just look for making shapes. They don't have to be perfect. They have to be exactly just what we want them to be. Doesn't need to look like anyone else's drawing. Art is very individual, which is a wonderful thing. Okay, so there is a sun. You know what I'd like? Like a nice big cloud. I love to paint clouds. That's one of my favorite things to paint. If you see my paintings, oh, that's my favorite thing. There we go. There is a cloud. Okay, so I'm going to be back in a moment. I'm going to get my paints together, and then I'm going to explain how we move on from here. We're back. So here is my drawing. So what I have done is I've gone and gotten some container lids, and I put aluminum foil or some sort of paper on them so I can put my paint on, and then I can kind of roll up my paint when it's done and throw it in the garbage, because we don't want to be putting paint down your parents' sink. It's not good for it. So we can wash our brushes and things like that, but we don't want to be washing actual paint into your sink. We don't have to. So I've gotten a few different Tupperware lids with foil I like to use. And then I just work off those. And another thing you're going to want is some water, some paper towels or a rag. I always try to have a big brush, kind of some medium brushes, and a little brush for details. And we're going to be using some markers too for the detail, because it's lots of fun. And I don't want you to think that you have to finish this painting right now. This could be something you work on throughout the week. So you might be able to get a little bit done and then come back and do a little bit more and do a little bit more. The more you put on, the more interesting it is. So let's get started. So what I'm going to first start off with is we're going to start off with painting the sun. And I did something kind of interesting here. We're going to start off with some yellow and orange, which looks awesome. But I want you to take some of your yellow and orange, and I want you to add a little bit of white to it. Because I want you to see that this color can be lighter. Lighter color is a value of that color. So this is yellow, and this is a little bit lighter. We can do that with the orange, we can do that with blue, we can do that with any color. So I want you to experiment with using a little bit of white in with your color and see what happens. So I'm going to wash my brush because I want to start in the middle of the sun with orange, because I think orange is probably the brightest part, and I would think the middle of the sun is probably where you'd see the brightest color. So we're just going to go like this. And I love this orange color. I think we're going to have to maybe even use this on other part of our painting. It's kind of fun. You need bright colors when it's winter. So then I'm going to go in with the bright yellow. And this is up to you. You could make a blue sun. You could make a green sun. You could make whatever color sun you want. I'm just here to kind of show you what you can do. And your job as the artist is to make it yours. So let's go in like that. And then I would like to use some white with the yellow to make a lighter value of the yellow. But see how different it is? This yellow to this yellow? It's kind of fun to start playing with colors, see what you can make it. What happens when you add a different color? We're going to talk a lot about that in the next couple weeks, because you can take just a few colors, and when you understand how to change them, you can make hundreds of different kinds of colors. So you don't need to go buy tons and tons. You can just go buy the colors that are primary. So that's your red, your blue, your yellow. And then I get white and black because gray can really change up color, but we're going to talk about that later. I love that sun. That sun is fun. Okay, so we're going to go into this, and I want to make sure I get all that yellow off my brush because I do not want to, it makes the other colors, it can make the other colors muddy when you start having too many colors get on your brush and mix with another color. It can start looking very almost like a brown tinge to it. So if that starts happening with your paint and you don't really know what's going on, that's what's happening. Because you've got too many colors in there. And I want you to know too that on the site is my email, Facebook, and all of those things. So if you have a question, that's what I'm here for. You know, if you come across something that you don't totally understand, just send me a video, send me an email, send me something and let me know what you need. Because I'm hoping we can kind of grow a community of lots of kids that love to paint and lots of kids that love to draw from all over the place. And you guys can just create. I kind of wish I had that as a kid. When I was a little kid, I lived in small town Saskatchewan. And we moved quite a bit. And I never really got to be able to do art classes because where I lived, there was no art classes. So, you know, it's hard this day and age that everything's on the computer, and that's not always a great thing. But sometimes it can be a good thing. Like, I'm thinking that we can bring kids together from all over the province, maybe even all over Canada, to work together on different projects, and we can kind of see what each other's working on. I think it's kind of exciting. Okay, so I'm going in with my blue, and I'm going to want to go in and do a second coat, I think, too, because it's looking a little streaky. But that is totally doable. So I'm going to keep working away. I'm going to put some more blue in the sky, and I'm going to paint my clouds with a base color of white. And then I'm going to come back, and we're going to talk. And then we are going to figure out what color we are going to paint the house. So I'll see you right away. Okay, we're back. So I got the sky done and the sun. I am probably going to just do a second coat because I've only done one coat and it looks a little bit streaky. So if that happens to you, you can always just do another coat over top. But we're going to start working on the house. So the roof I want to do orange. And I want you to know you can paint your house whatever color you want. You can paint it your favorite color. You can paint it to look like your house. But I like pink and orange today. Those are like my colors that I'm going for. So I'm going to make an orange roof. So it's like coloring in a coloring book. Just with paint. So we go in. We just want to make sure that we're getting our base color done. So we're painting the whole thing. Like, we're not just painting little pieces. We're going to do some details next, and I'll show you what you can kind of add on to your house for color. But we're just doing the background. So just like it was a coloring book. So that brush is starting to get a little big to be able to go in the corners. So I just kind of dropped into a smaller brush, and I work with lots of different size brushes. If I have like a huge sky, I'm not going to use a tiny little brush. I'm going to get a big brush and put the blue in. But for right now, I need to work into the corners, so I'm just going to go get my little brush. So I'm going to clean that off, and then we're going to go in. Clean this too. And I want magenta for the walls of the house. I love magenta. Magenta's kind of like a cool pink. And I've got that already set here. And we're going to use our paints again to see kind of what we can do with color. So I want to show you, this is a super bright magenta. And like, yes, that's lots of fun to have a bright color, but sometimes I like things a little less bright. So if you want it less bright, you can always add a little bit of gray, which we're going to go over next class. Or if you just want to lighten that value, you can go in with white. And it's all about being able to change that color. And I want you to see this brush was a little dry. See what's happening? So I just want to make sure I get a little bit of water on my brush. You know, and sometimes you want a dry brush. You want that kind of effect. If you were to go in and to do a detail and you wanted it not to cover the whole canvas, you know, it's learning how to use your brushes and your paints to get what you're looking for. And I want you to know too, if something doesn't work out with your painting, that's okay. It's just a painting. You can paint over it. Happens to me all the time where I think, oh, I love this color and I'm going to put this color on, and then I get it on and I'm like, I don't like that very much. So then I just go in and I paint over top of it. Art is not meant to be perfect all the time. We're meant to work through, you know, like things we like, things we don't like, go back, change things up again, try again. That's the great part about art, is it's just always changeable. You're not stuck. So don't let it get you stressed. And if all of a sudden you're stressed out, the best thing you can do is take a break. Walk away from it for a day or a couple hours and then come back and look at it again. You're going to like it again. Sometimes I get so stuck looking at the details of my paintings that I might see something that drives me absolutely crazy. So I need to make that decision that I need a break from this painting. I'm going to put it away for a couple days, and then, you know what's funny is I come back to it a couple days later and I love it. It's just I got too stressed looking at it and wanting it to be perfect. And I didn't realize it kind of already was perfect. It was me that was, you know, fighting with what I wanted to do with it, and it was okay just leaving it the way it was. Sometimes we just need breaks. So I'm going to keep going with painting my house, and then I'm going to be back in a minute when it is time to paint the tree and the grass. So we're back. I got the house painted. I decided on a yellow door. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to work on the tree, on the plants, and on the grass. And then after that, I'm going to show you how to go in and put details. That's like my favorite part of a painting. So just take your time to work through your painting. And no, you just pick your colors, and when you've had enough, you take a break and come back to it later. You know what would be fun too is having your parents sit down and kind of do their own painting. It's kind of nice to be able to spend some time together. My little guy, he is 6 years old, and we paint together all the time. I think we have the best discussions when we paint. It means you're not in a hurry to go anywhere or do anything. He loves Pokemon. That's what he paints. He paints all these different kinds of Pokemon. I like landscapes and portraits, which we're going to get more into in the class. So if you can send me a picture when you're done so I can see what you did. I'm very excited. Here we go, our green tree. You know what? I think I want a bit of a darker green. And you know what? Green is sometimes a really fun color to mix with a little bit of blue. I love doing that with the trees I do. It might not be a totally natural color, but I think it's lots of fun sometimes. I think I didn't mix it quite enough. So we're going to add just a little bit more green. So, and that's the thing. You put it down and you decide you need a little bit more of a different color. You just go right ahead and just paint over top of what you had. Don't worry about it. We second guess ourselves way too much with everything. We need to just be able to try things out and see if it works. Okay. I like that. That's kind of a fun green, isn't it? And I'm going to take some of this color later, show you how to do some details in the other tree. But I'm going to go in with a lighter green for the grass, but I'm going to add a little bit of the darker green. So feel like you can change it up a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect all the time. Like, you can try something different. I try to do something different in every painting I do. Just make sure that I'm trying different colors, because sometimes we can get into something where we're like, we only use the same color all the time. You know, we don't even notice. So just take yourself out of that comfort zone a little bit. Okay. So I'm going to go in like this. But see how this is a bigger section, so I could actually use a bigger brush. I kind of like this one right now just because I have to work through around the house and around the tree. And then I'm going to go in and do like a second coat. And then we're going to come back in with our markers. I love washable markers. Those are the best kinds. We never get in trouble with washable markers. Sometimes when we have permanent ones, it cannot be a good thing. Okay. So I'm going to keep working through this. I'm going to paint the trunk of the tree brown, and I'm going to paint the rest of the grass. And then I'm going to come back and we're going to talk all about the best part. It's the detail. See you right away. So it's time for the detail. This is a painting I did. It's actually the more advanced one for this week. So if you want to try this one, go ahead and go to this one as well. It's all based on line and shape. I wanted to show you how we can add detail. So I use markers. You can use paint. You can use all sorts of things to put stuff in. You could even collage little pieces of paper in if you felt like it. So I'm going to put this over here and we're going to work on this one. So I'm going to go in, and I do like, you don't have to outline everything, but it kind of helps pop the color in some areas. So I'm going to go in with my orange marker. I'm also going to show you kind of going in with a little bit of paint too, what you can do. And the nice thing is, like, you don't like it, like I said, you can just go and change it. But try, because you just don't know what you're going to get. So I'm going to go in with maybe a blue marker. And you can go in with like pencil crayons and crayons. Try all sorts of things. Glitter. Glitter can be a very dangerous thing. Drop it in your house, you never get rid of it completely, but here we go. So I'm going to go in with my black marker to do the windows. So I'm going to go in and make some window frames. You could go in, you could paint little flowers, you could paint blades of grass, you could do leaves. So I will be back in just one moment. I just needed to go get some more of my paint so I can kind of show you guys too. But if you look, I can go in and you can do all sorts of fun things to make something a little bit more fun. I like kind of like playing with lines and shapes. See, you could add a couple different shapes that you could even fill in with your markers. And like, if you don't like it, just go on back and see what you can do. But I'm super excited to see what your guys' painting looks like. You know, you can make some of your paintings too to give away as gifts. I give paintings away all the time for my friends and family. For Christmas and birthdays. Something you made and you should be very proud of. Okay, so I did this. I'm going to show you some different things you can do too. So I'm going to take my brush. I'm just going to add some of the darker green, and I'm just going to go in and we're going to try this too. I'm going to just add some leaves. And nothing's wrong, because if we don't like it, we just go back and do it again. Go in like this. You can hear the footsteps of my little guy, Zach. He was supposed to be waiting, but I think he's having a hard time. Can you say hi, Zach?
Hi.
Zach loves to paint with me. So let's do this. Zach, can you go sit down for 2 seconds? I'm almost done. Thank you. It's been kind of a new thing in our house, is me doing videos and having to learn to be quiet while I'm making the videos. It can be hard. I'm sure you guys know too what that's like. I'm going to go in and I'm just kind of having fun with this darker green. Let's see what happens. Okay. And I'm going to go in with some light green on a little brush. Zach, you need to go sit. Okay. Okay. And I'm going to be back in just a moment. Well, I'm back. Zach is watching TV, I think. I think I am taking too long for his liking, but I told him he could come paint with us, but he decided he didn't want to right now. He's gonna paint later. So I filled in this tree because I kind of lost my train of thought, so I started over again. But see what happens is I kind of started doing some stuff, and then I was like, no, I don't really like it. So I went back in and cleaned that up. I'm going to go in with some blue paint into my window. Let's add just a little bit. Kind of like a reflection, right? Like the sun is hitting the glass. Let's do a little bit in here. This is the fun part. You get to do all sorts of things. Okay, so I'm going to go in and get some yellow paint. And we're going to go in and I'm going to show you. I'm just going to add some lines and some shingles to the house. It's kind of fun when you use two different colors. So just go in and use your brush. Just put some lines where you want some interest, right? Put some in the corner here. Perfect. Okay, and then I'm going to go back to my markers, which I love. I'm going to take a purple one. And I'm going to go around my door. You know what? I'm going to create like a window in the door. You could go in with paint if you wanted to do different things. And then we're going to go back in with your brush. I'm going to actually get a little bit of purple. Purple's always fun to play with over pink. They're similar colors, but not completely, so you can kind of add some lines in there. It's quite dark, so I'm going to add a little bit of white to lighten up that purple. And then I'm going to go in and, you know what, I want to just kind of do work on the window here. Let's make it, got a purple frame in it. Perfect. You know, another thing I like to do is circles. Circles are just random squares just to decorate stuff up. Kind of just adds a little bit of interest, right? Okay, so I want you to finish up your house the way that you want it, with the colors you like. And when you are super proud of it, I want you to get your parents to take a picture of it and send it to me. That'll be really exciting to see what everyone has done this week. Okay, so keep working, send me those pictures, and I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye for now.